Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Joni Ogg, and on behalf of Travel Professional News, homebasedtravelagency.com, and findahosttravelagency.com, I would love to welcome all of you today to the webinar and to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join with us. And we're thrilled to welcome my friend and our speaker today, who I've not had a chance to be online with recently, and I've missed her, and that's Jenn Lee. Is
Oh,
leading the charge here for both TPI now and Vacation Planners. She's the president and CMO, and she's passionate and she's bold about amplifying the travel planning experience for both the travel advisor and the consumer. It's what gets her up every day, and she does an amazing job of it. Her insights are often featured in travel industry publications and podcast interviews. She does her webinars with us. We get great turnouts every time she does one. She's an amazing speaker, and she guides advisors across the country as her favorite activity and blessing in her professional world. So personally, Jenn splits her time between Florida, Alabama, and Delta Airlines. And I believe she's in Alabama today. So we welcome her. Today's webinar topic is your business ready for the next chapter? Strategic assessment for advisors ready to scale smarter. And one lucky attendee is going to win a 30-minute consultation with Jenn. So be sure to listen really carefully for your chance to win that. And additionally, another lucky attendee is going to win a $50 Amazon gift card, courtesy of Travel Professional News and the Ogg family. So just remember, folks, you are all muted, but we do welcome your questions at any time. You just type those questions in the questions area that you see on the right side of your screen on that panel, and we will get to those as soon as Jenn's done with her presentation. Now, Jenn does things a little differently than some other speakers. She likes to get you guys really engaged during the presentation. So oftentimes she'll say, hey, Joni, can you tell me what the answers are? And she'll be asking you guys questions. So just put those again in that questions area that you see, and I will get back to her right then online and let her know what's going on. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Jenn, and she can get started. Welcome, my good friend.
thank you, Joni. It's so good to be back. I feel like it's been forever since we've had a chance to, do business talk with Jenn and Joni.
I know, it feels like it.
So, Joni, I chose this topic today because as I'm going through the process of speaking to a lot of advisors who are taking a look at the different types of models that are out there for their businesses, and we launched a franchise division, TPI launched a franchise division called Vacation Planners, which I'm the president of. I started to have more and more of these business conversations, and I was like, you know what? I think everybody needs to have a simple framework, something to kind of walk themselves through quickly to identify if they're on the right track for where they want to go. And again, it's not like there's rocket science behind a lot of this. It's not like there's a silver bullet that if you do this, then this will happen. But moreover, my goal by the end of this webinar is for people to feel like they're armed with the right questions to be asking themselves, right? And we're going to go with some gut feeling questions because, people buy on emotion and justify logically, which, Joni, you've heard me say, I don't know, 474 times at least. It's in almost every one of my webinars. And I love to use that whole mentality when it comes to even, introducing new ideas to folks. So it's a strategic assessment for advisors who are ready to scale smarter. So just because you tuned in, that's the reason why I think you're ready to scale and you want to do it smarter. And while we're waiting, not waiting, but while we kind of go through this, I'd love to get the audience to kind of type in their answers. Like, what made them curious about today's webinar? What was it about the description that stood out? Is there a challenge that they feel like they're trying to overcome? Or were they thinking or forward thinking about what does the future hold? Or are they kind of stressed out and they're hoping that I'm going to say something that's going to non-stress them? So while I'm starting to kind of key us up for the next slide, I'd love to hear from the audience about that.
Okay, you tell me when you're ready. I'm getting them slowly but surely here.
Awesome. Good. Good, fast typers. Yeah, I'm ready. Tell me. Give it to me.
Okay. I'm reworking my business strategy, and then somebody has said the title. I want to see what the process looks like to grow and see how I can do it. Looking to see what I can do better in the future as my business grows. And it spoke to me, and that's why I'm here right now.
Love it. I love it. All right, good. And if I don't answer some of those desires on this webinar, I've done 1,000 webinars with Joni, and I'm sure we can post some of the past ones, especially anything about profit, how to figure out if you're profitable or marketing. But today, the goal here is these are the 4 areas that I'm going to touch upon. First, we're going to do a quick sustainability audit and scalability assessment. And what I mean by that is some quick questions to ask yourself. Is your business sustainable as it stands right now with the way that it is set up? And are you ready to scale your business, which means you're able to grow that business where you're not necessarily the only person doing the consultations and the curation of the experiences. Second thing we're going to do is a really quick marketing reality check. And this is very much an eye opener when I talk to folks who are interested in possibly purchasing a franchise specifically, because they realize, well, actually, I'm not going to tell you until we get there. And then number 3, the independence model versus support spectrum. And what I mean by that is, you know, there are a lot of very successful advisors, many of them at TPI specifically, so that are all by themselves. They're one-man shows, one-woman shows. And that's not to say you can't make a good chunk of change just doing it by yourself, but I want you to take a look at the difference between doing it by yourself or growing a team or having a a support system to help you. And then finally, number 4, we're going to review strategic decision framework, just some simple questions that you can ask yourself. All right, who's ready? Are you ready, Joni?
I'm ready. Everybody else appears to be ready as well.
Awesome. If I can figure out how to move my thing. All right. So here's the big challenge. And out of these 3, I want to know from any of you, do any of these speak to you? The work to wow ratio is off. And what I mean by that is the amount of work you're putting in, it needs to have a wow factor that supports the amount of work that you're putting in. So the amount of work to wow ratio, kind of like, you know, when you go on a special diet, Joni, and all you do is you eat cabbage soup, and boy, that's really crappy, and you don't lose enough weight, that's a work to wow ratio that's completely off. So do you feel like the wow portion of your business is not in alignment with the amount of work you're putting in? Number 2, are you distracted with too many options? I find this is so easy in the travel industry because, oh my goodness, there are so many different partners that you can sell, so many new ships that are coming out, cool destinations, brand new resorts, new travel styles. And then you've got like technology over here. Which CRM should I use? Oh, I like this one, but there's a better one that's out there. Just all types of distractions, conferences, webinars, you name it, distracted with too many options. Do you feel that way? And then the third is, do you feel a lack of a solid long-term direction or plan in your business? So I'm hoping some people were typing in. Do any of
Yeah,
the
we got some here. We got somebody that says number 2. Somebody said yes. Way too many options, lack of a solid long-term direction, or more liking the direction, or more not liking the direction I'm currently going on. All 3, 1
Mhm.
and 2. Ratio is off. Distraction over here.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
got it. So we
perfect.
can all agree I nailed it, right? Those are the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
challenges. So
yeah.
I know what you guys are going through. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurs, have been for many, many years, and really obsessed with helping advisors be more successful in their business. The work to wow ratio to me is that's like your baseline. If you feel like you're doing a lot of work, but you're not getting paid the amount of money that you really so desire, or you're not finding that joy so much. For many years as a business consultant, I would tell people it's got to make you money and bring you joy in business. It can't do one or the other, because if it's making you money but bringing you no joy, that's called torture. If it's bringing you lots of joy but you're not making any money, that's called a nonprofit volunteer opportunity, right? So in business, it's got to make you money and bring you joy. All right, guys. So good. I'm glad you guys are, kind of resonating with this. So let's do a simple gut check assessment. And I know this seems very different, these questions, than, tell me how much money you're spending on this, or, what's your quote close ratio. This, to me, is what's really bringing out whether or not your business is sustainable and or scalable. So ask yourself, if someone came to you with a really large group opportunity, would you jump on it or would you hesitate? If you got an opportunity to sponsor a large local event where thousands of people would be there, or hundreds of your local people would be there, and you've been given a prime spot in this vendor show that's an all day, maybe it's a fair of some sort, would you spend the money to sponsor it or not? Number 3, would you add team members to your agency today, right now? And if you wouldn't, why not? And it's okay if you don't want to. I'm not saying you have to. But if you had a desire, why would you not? And I think I know the answer to that. And I lost track of my numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you had a chance to partner with an influencer, would you do it? And then finally, if you could do the thing you see other successful advisors do, is there a reason why you haven't? Now, these are serious questions because, quite frankly, every single one of these helps you scale your business, also gives you the greatest opportunity for long-term sustainability. So these are the types of opportunities that are probably in front of you. Many of them are in front of you or could be in front of you. But if you're kind of shying back on these, that tells me you know something foundationally is not where you want it to be for you to be able to say, heck yeah, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it today. So, Joni, we've asked the audience, what are they
All
saying
right.
about the questions?
So far, come on, folks, I need more people. Susan, thank you for your answers. Susan says, jump and yes,
Yeah,
and I'm waiting for more.
come on,
Large
guys.
group, okay, large group, yes. Sponsor, yes. Add team, hold on, I gotta get this. Add team, yes. Node influencers, not interested. Okay, so anybody else?
So, to those that answered,
Large group,
thank you.
here's another one for you. I'll let you go. Large
Yeah.
group, yes, absolutely. Sponsor, yes, but that would be event. I focus on groups and LGBTQIA travel, so do a pride event would be great idea. No influence for me.
Well, okay, so that's so very interesting because I have 2 travel advisors that kick butt, actually 3 travel advisors that kick butt because they partnered with an influencer. So I don't know why everyone's so scared of working with influencers. One guy does $4 million a year by himself because he partnered with one influencer. Another woman, another one of our advisors buys out entire resorts because she partnered with an influencer. So it's interesting. I'm going to have to do a webinar. That's our next webinar, Joni, how to partner
Okay.
with influencers, because
Yeah, good
wow,
idea. That'd be
what
awesome.
thinking on your part, people. It's probably because you don't respect some. All right, I can't get off on a tangent. We're going to do that one on the next one, Joni. So here's
Okay.
the thing. If you said yes to these, then my question to you is, are you doing them, right? And if you are, good on you. If you're not doing them, because we're saying that we have over 100 people on here and you only had 4 people participate, guess what? You're not doing them. So I'm going to make that assumption. That's because you know intuitively, maybe you don't have the foundation necessary to bring on a 200-person group right away. Is it your CRM that you're missing out on, or that you're not maximizing? Is it possible that the reason you don't want to partner or add new team members is because you don't have a training curriculum put together for it? Or because who's got time for that, right? You want to bring somebody on, you want to build your business, but maybe you don't want to bring on teams because you're like, gosh, now I'm going to be responsible for them, or I am going to be, I don't have time to train them, right? So these are all the things that I find that if you can start saying yes to a handful of these, that means you have a sustainable business because you've got your foundational pieces in place, and you also are ready to receive that information. Because one of the things that I know to be true, Joni, is there is so much business out there that we are not capturing in the travel advisor community. And the reason that is all on the travel advisor and the industry in itself. And I don't mean that negatively, guys. What I mean is that there's so much business that if you're not doing all of these things, or at least one of these things, and not everybody's doing it, we're never going to capture it. So I get pretty on my soapbox to support you for that. Do we have any more comments on this before I go to the next one?
Well, I do have one comment that if you could answer this while I'm looking at the other ones. And it's a good question because not everybody is in this world of thinking about influence. Can you real quickly just explain what an influencer does? I know you're not going to go into any detail, but somebody's
Yeah.
asking what partnering with an influencer actually means. And it's a good question.
It's an outstanding question, and that's why I was so glad with those of you who said no way, Jose. And it's the same thing that I get from other people. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I have an opportunity. An influencer is someone who, write this down, okay? Truly, an influencer is somebody who, I'm gonna say this slowly so you write this down. An influencer is someone who already has a relationship with your next best customer. It's somebody who already has a relationship, could be an online relationship, right? It could be an in-person relationship. An influencer could be a DJ. An influencer could be, a popular person in your community. An influencer, and what we usually look at it as someone who, I'll give you a perfect example. This is one of our advisors. She's Italian, and she connected with a woman on Instagram who teaches Italian to people who want to learn Italian. And this woman's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and she sells her classes, but she provides a lot of Italian free tips on Instagram, right? So my advisor, Ashley, reached out to her and said, hey, have you ever thought about putting together a trip to go to Italy for your followers so that they can actually put their Italian into play? She has now sold out 5 different groups within one email from this influencer, or post, I should say, from this influencer. Hey, who would be interested in traveling to Italy with me in a group to do it? They had almost 700 people interested right away. That's what an influencer is. It's someone who already has a relationship with your next best customer. So that's going to be our next webinar.
That's awesome. I'm going to put that down. I'm not going to let you get away without doing that one.
I will. And then did you have any other comments?
Somebody's just commenting, we're already seeing an increase in stats on our social media. Somebody said they just brought in an influencer to be a sub agent, and that's the result of it, is they're getting some good results.
Awesome.
And then one question, and again, I know we're going to do this on another webinar, but do you pay an influencer?
Yes, I'll tell you all about that. You split your commission.
You have to sign up for the next webinar when you get your invite, folks, and we will go through all of it.
It is so easy peasy lemon squeezy. I cannot believe people are not doing this. This is easy. Pitching your local media is easy, and starting group business is easy. And I've done pitch your local media and group business webinar already. Boy, you guys are getting me all fired up. I'm so excited. All right,
you missed us, didn't you? You missed me.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to y'all in forever. I hope that's another thing. Type in, have you ever heard me speak before? Because and if you haven't, buckle up, because I get really feisty because I believe in everything you guys do. Okay, next topic, marketing reality check. So here's the first question is the most important one, quite frankly. What marketing activities drive revenue? You have to ask yourself, what are the marketing activities that I do that I can directly correlate to driving very specific revenue? Answer that question for yourself. Feel free to type it in as well. Second thing that the reality check is social media impact. Are you satisfied with the amount? Let's go back to that work to wow ratio. A lot of people post a lot of things on social, but they don't feel like they get that, that wow return. Are you satisfied with what you're doing with your social media? Number 3, email marketing. How many of you guys are still sending emails via email marketing? It's still, without a doubt, one of the best ways to capture business. But is it targeted email marketing? See, when you just do email marketing to everybody as if they're all the same, you're not going to have that real impact that you're looking for. So you've got to ask yourself, is my email marketing targeted? That's how you have a scalable business, guys. Then number 4 is word of mouth and referrals. Every time I ask this question, the answer is always the same. Where do you get most of your new clients? Word of mouth or referrals is the answer. The question is, are you leveraging that word of mouth and referrals? I did a whole webinar on how to ask for referrals and reviews. I'm pretty sure that's in our library there somewhere, Joni, that you and I did together. If not, that's another webinar we'll do together. But how do you leverage those referrals? Are you turning those into social media posts? Are you ensuring that those reviews, are you collecting those reviews and are you adding them to your Google business profile? Which, by the way, from an AI perspective, when people are looking for an advisor to work with, Google is now utilizing not just reviews from Google Business Profile, but reviews from the entire internet. So how are you leveraging them? How are you asking for those referrals and leveraging that word of mouth to your advantage? All right, any comments on that portion there, Miss Joni?
Jennifer says this is my biggest weakness, and I'm assuming she means marketing activities because that was the first thing you said. Somebody else says keeping in touch with past clients. Uh, what are your thoughts on a referral program where we reward clients for a referral? I redid my website, hired SEO, pro, weekly blogs and emails, slowly but surely helping the biz, trying to come up with a referral program. Okay, and I market my own vacations, photos, live Facebook posts, and lots of chatting with folks, and that usually boosts my revenue. So there you
That's
go,
awesome.
some of the.
Good, good. So we're going back to, scaling smarter. So whatever marketing tactic that you use, that the answer to number 1, that's the one I'm going to tell you need to triple down on and possibly get rid of the others. So let's go back to somebody said they're weak in the marketing activities to drive revenue. You've got that. This means you're not ready to scale, right? Because you've got to have, because all marketing is, guys, and I think I did a webinar on this about the sales funnel, the marketing funnel. All marketing is your proactive activity to get more eyeballs on you. You need more eyeballs, more people that are seeing your name or that are reading something that you've posted or tagged a friend of theirs and introduced to you through social media. Of somebody you've and now they're introduced to social media sort. Your review or your referral, your review more than anything else, the review is now introducing that review to other and see themselves, see their story, that review to other people's story in the story of the review, right? It's not a good review if it's, oh, Joni was an awesome travel advisor, use her, because quite frankly, or hire her, because quite frankly, that doesn't tell me anything. But if they say, hey, we were really stressed about we've always wanted to go to Africa to go on a safari, and we were really stressed on trying to do that ourselves. Thankfully, because of Joni's expertise with Africa, she was able to walk us step by step, even with my teenagers. They enjoyed it. Now, all of a sudden, that's a real review. And how do you leverage that review? See, if you're not diving deep into 1 or 2 of these and really, really working it, you're never going to be able to scale. And scaling is growing your business where it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, where every moment of your time is completely tied to every dime that you make. You have to be able to have your business work for you, not you working on the business all the time. It's got to work for you so that it can alleviate some other things. Back to the franchise opportunity, this is the only reason why, the main reason we launched Vacation Planners was because we found a lot of folks just don't want to do marketing. They're sick of doing social media and doing all that. They don't want to ask for reviews. They feel weird about it. The technology they were using, like the work to wow ratio, wasn't working and they couldn't scale their business. So that's why I'm so passionate about talking about this. Not to say that everyone needs to be in the franchise model, but everyone should have these questions answered for themselves and have a game plan with it. Any other comments before I go to the next one?
This question, is it worth it to have all of the social media channels like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, or should I narrow it down?
Narrow it down. That's an easy question to answer. The question becomes, the real question to ask yourself is, do you know who it is that you want to serve? And again, if you've heard my webinars before, I say this all the time. Clearly identify who is it that you want to serve in your business, and then where do they hang out? Now, I have advisors that kill it on TikTok. That's not where my people would be, right? But that's where their people are. So find out who, but you have to really identify who is it that you want to serve. Is it your local community? If it's your local community, then TikTok's not necessarily the thing, unless your local community is always on TikTok and there's a couple of influencers on TikTok that you can tag along with, yada, yada, yada. But if it's your local community making an impact in your local community, then your local social media is going to be your biggest impact. Marketing at events is going to be your biggest impact. Pitching your local media and being on your local TV, which is so easy, guys. I can't even express how easy it is to get on TV as a travel advisor. So no, do not have all of them. Answer the question, where do your people hang out? And if they hang out in Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, that's where you want to be. Facebook and Instagram are kind of the same in today's world. It's easy to kind of go back and forth, post similar things on both of them. Any other questions?
Nope, so far we're good.
Okay, so Joni, I feel like I have to do a gut check. I don't
Okay.
see any pieces left. I want to know, has this so far been eye-opening or a waste of your time, advisors? And
Okay, folks, I'll be brutally honest. Whatever you say here, she
do it.
asked.
Yeah, I want to know whoever.
Answers.
Go.
Okay. So far I'm getting a bunch of eye openings. Loving
Good.
it, eye opening. Jen always helps. Jen always does this. Eye opening. It showed me what I am lacking. Now I'm looking for suggestions. Okay, you're on target here, girl. You're good.
Good, good, good. All right, good. Sorry, my picture's so fuzzy in this. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so the next thing is, let's be real. Now that you have kind of identified some areas where you could use some help, or some areas where you know, gosh darn it, I'm never going to be able to scale if I don't get this together. You have to ask yourself, is it good for you to stay in the independent all by yourself, or are we ready to add some support? So I want you to look at it like this. I like to look at it differently, and both are perfectly fine. Both are very successful models. The all by yourself, I can't tell you the number of advisors at TPI, our host agency at TPI, that don't even have an assistant, and they're doing millions of dollars in business. It can be done all day long. But I want you to look at this as positioning yourself as a business versus something that seems more singular. Okay, so this is a mind shift, as well as an opportunity to say, maybe I can't scale unless I add to my team, however that looks for you. All right, so singular, let's look to the singular, which is under blue. Singular could be perceived as a transactional relationship as you get larger. So as you start adding more and more business, you could be perceived as a transactional relationship with somebody, probably a very good customer service, well thought out transaction. But be careful, because when you become a transaction, people buy on emotion and justify logically. Well, if you become a transaction, they're thinking logically first as opposed to emotional. So just be careful. Number two, your business is tied to you and you alone. And I'll give you an example. How many of you guys, and maybe nobody on this call, but when I first came into the industry almost 11 years ago, it was, you know, Jane's Travel, Cars Travel, Dee Dee's Travel. It was always like somebody's name, travel, right? When you go to sell your business one day, and hopefully everyone sells their business, which is a question we're going to ask here in just a little bit, it's tied to your name and you alone. So if you have that type of name, and you can keep it, I'm just telling you to be thinking about it. You've positioned yourself as a singular entity, not necessarily a business, even though you are a business. Number three, it's only scalable to a certain degree when you stay smaller and not have a team or third-party support to help you. Your long-term value is also harder to predict when you're singular. And then it just simply the last one, you're just super control freaks. And that's really what I've kind of come to the conclusion as I interview advisors that are like, I'm not adding to my team. I'm not adding to my team. It always comes down to, I can't trust them. I can't trust someone to submit my sales. I can't trust someone to do my social. I can't trust, you're just a bunch of control freaks. And I dig that about you, but it could keep you in this singular mindset. Versus a business mindset. And again, I'm not saying being by yourself doesn't mean you're not a business, because there's plenty of advisors that are sharp business people. Just be careful with it. The business mindset is your consumer views you as doing business with an entity, not an individual. Now, that entity has a person and a personality and a culture behind it, don't get me wrong, but it becomes more of it's easier for you to charge fees, as an example. Here at our agency, when you hire us to work with you, we have a $250 per person design fee when we curate an African safari trip. Right now, it's we at our agency. So you can become a business now. You've positioned yourself as an entity versus an individual. Under the business column, a team equals depth of offering. So let's just say that you love serving the family focused community. Well, that's awesome. And maybe you don't sell Disney right now. And anybody who does sell Disney, you got to be an expert in that. Like, you really got to have a PhD to be able to do Disney. Well, once you add a team member, maybe they focus on Disney. Now you have a depth of offering to all of your clients. Number 3, scalability is easier to see. You'll be able to see yourself differently and your business. And there is a built-in long-term value. So when you go to sell your business, or maybe when you position yourself to buy somebody's book of business, because you're in a business entity mindset, especially with the name of your company and the way that your foundations are set up with your technology and your CRMs, and are you with a host who has a consortia that's got a marketing program, you've got built-in long-term value. And then you're positioning yourself that it's a business that's run by you on behalf of your clients and your fellow advisors that you're bringing on. And for me, this is really important, this last one. It's a legacy-driven impact. And you can do this both in the singular or the business-minded. But one of the things that got me excited about joining the industry and being so dogged with my passion and dedication is that I feel that what y'all do as advisors makes the real impact in our world, not just because you send them to another location, but because you're helping people connect with one another. And you really, at the end of the day, don't we want to feel that we've left our legacies, not necessarily our bank account, which is important, don't get me wrong, but it's that the legacy is that your business that you're, working your tail off for, sweating over, sleep deprived, hard charging business that you're working for is leaving your legacy of an impact in this world. So, the bigger you can make your business, or the more robust, I should say, not necessarily larger, but the more robust, the more depth that there is to it. Maybe it's more niche that it is to it. The more you fall in line to the business side, even if it's just you. So there's a difference. It's a mindset, right, Joni? It's the singular mindset that's about my business, my clients, versus our business, our clients, our impact. All right, what say you folks that are listening?
Okay, so Janet is a control freak, just
Yes.
throwing it
Yeah.
out there. Okay. Anybody else?
And yeah, most advisors are control freaks, I've noticed, and that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad thing. Yeah. So no one's really responding to that. I think we need to ask them a more detailed question to get them to respond
Yeah.
here.
So let me ask you guys, thank you so much. So let me ask you guys a question. Um, have you ever thought about buying somebody else's business?
That's a good way to put it. Okay. Yes, thinking about it. No, 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 no. I
Oh,
have
control
not.
freak.
Yes, no, yes. Have thought about it. Yes, I have. Yes, already
Good,
did. Just
good,
offering royalty. Good. Okay. Yeah, no,
smart.
it's a mixed bag. Yeses and nos, and
Yeah.
some thinking about it.
Yep. And some thinking, good. And for those that have done it, awesome. For those, there's plenty of people who are looking to retire, or if they say they want to retire, but they're just trying to transition out because they want to, you know, enjoy the perks of travel. And that's probably where whoever said that they're paying royalties, they've probably done that. That's our next generation, guys. We have to be positioned, or you have to be positioned as advisors and agency owners to be ready to buy somebody's business. Because what happens is, what we don't want to have happen is we don't want someone to just, you know, I'm just going to be crass about it, die, because there's a lot of old people out there. We're just dying. Even the younger generation is just dying, right? And then here's all these clients that were well taken care of by these advisors and agency owners, and they have nowhere to go. There's no one place for them to go. So I'm going to challenge you guys, if you want to be sustainable and scalable, and do it in a smart way, which is the reason why you tuned in. These are the questions to ask yourself, because once you've got the answers, then there's lots of resources to help you take it to the next step, or take it further one step at a time. So if you've had an interest in it, then we've got to look at, have you set up your basic foundational pieces, which I know we have a webinar on that. All right, next. All right, so decision time, decision framework, questions to ask yourself. And by the way, we're going to have plenty of time at the end that I can answer any question for anybody, okay? So the number one question that I always ask advisors to ask themselves first is to contemplate, what am I building towards? And here are some of the potential answers. I'm building to sell my business one day. I'm building a business so that I can have a strong foundation to buy another business. I'm building a business that I can hand down to someone, or that I can maybe bring on a team member that they can eventually take it over, and I can sit back a little bit more, right? I can kind of go into the background and just book the clients that I want to book, but yet I'm still the owner of the business. So you have to ask yourself, what am I building towards? This is very different than the question, what motivated you to get into the business, or what motivated you to start your travel agency or to begin curating experiences. I usually find the answer is, what motivates most of y'all is, I love to travel. I wanted to be able to work for myself. I can see this as a thriving business opportunity. But that's different than, what are you building towards? Another question to ask yourself is, what am I willing to sacrifice, and what am I willing not to sacrifice? Now, my control freak friends out there, if you're not willing to sacrifice giving up your clients to somebody, or giving up a part of the process to someone, that's okay. But then you've got to ask yourself, how am I going to scale? And that could be, I'm going to jump into bigger groups. I'm going to only focus on luxury, or I'm only going to focus on my local. If I'm not willing to give up certain things, I have to ask myself, what am I willing to sacrifice? Selling to everybody, right? You know, being all things to all folks. All right, number 3, scaling because I think I'm supposed to. Maybe you're not. It's okay. If you're happy with the money that you're making, if you're happy with the way your business is, don't do it just because you think you're supposed to. You've got to do a gut check moment and ask yourself that. You wouldn't be tuning in if it wasn't something that you felt like you were ready to do, though. And then the next is, do I still feel passionate about my business? And if you're passionate, you're probably passionate because you're on this webinar, but some people are getting tired, right? Like, they're just tired. They're passionate about their business, but it's that work to wow is kind of draining them, right? They're just feeling like it's just bringing them down. And what they used to love to do, which was to talk to clients, or I love curating experiences, or I have an advisor at TPI, a top cruise seller at TPI. Her name is Effie, and she loves her clients, but she loves to sell. Man, that's what she loves. She loves, closing the sale. She wants more people to travel, and she loves the sailing part of it. If she was bogged down with other activities that don't bring her any joy, then she wouldn't be as passionate any longer. And then finally, am I ready to be a different type of owner in my business? If you're ready to be a different type of owner, if you feel like you've got something to share to help elevate someone else who is interested in the industry, then now you're ready to kind of get into that manager role of your business and bring on team members. You know, if you're ready to be a different type of owner where you're not doing local events, you're not doing all of that, the type of owner you want to be is only to work, as they say in the real estate world, your farm are your current clients, then that's going to be different. Maybe your phone number is not out there for everybody to see. You know, maybe you have an out of office on that says, click here to schedule a time. Maybe you're ready to have a brick and mortar. Maybe you're ready to be in a consultative phase. So just ask yourself these questions. All right, so I want to kind of open it up from here. Do any of these questions or the ones that I've asked previously, Joni, getting people to kind of think a little differently? Or
Yeah,
wonder?
let me share some of the comments with you. So, building to retire from my corporate job, money and travel perks is a motivator. To build
Mhm.
something that my husband and I can do together after he retires from his other job. Um, I want to sell when I decide to retire. I'm not willing to give up on the time I dedicated to explore new destinations and learning. Scaling is because I want to have more time. I'm passionate. I'm building towards being able to bring on team members. I choose from the start not to base my agency name on my own. I chose from the start not to do that.
Good.
Um, it's the rude clients that make me want to quit.
Yes.
Yes, it does happen, unfortunately. Yes. There's
Well,
some
and
of them out there.
yeah, there are. So I want to touch on some of these. The rude clients, yeah, boy, you know, it just drives me crazy how rude people are in today's world. It's unbelievable the entitlement that they have, where they feel like they can speak to another human being in the way that they do. You know, I would go back to whoever said that. I would go back and ask myself, have I positioned myself as a business entity? I'm not talking the legal side to it, but have I positioned myself as a business entity where I'm using the words we, us, our versus me, I, type of vernacular. So go back and look at that, because setting those boundaries and you know, you hear like, you know, setting boundaries, know your worth. Well, that's all good and well, but if your business isn't set up from a marketing standpoint and the way you've positioned yourself, including having terms and conditions and you know, legal documents, credit card authorizations, and a professional looking CRM that really walks your clients through the process with an itinerary app and all that. If you're still doing, as we like to refer to, kind of old school, which I'm a paper person, I print everything, but I still like to have my PowerPoints look nice. I'm still trying to do things online as well. That levels up my, this is a business exposure, I should say, or what's the word I'm looking for? I've been up since 3:30, guys. Sorry about that. I can't think of my word. The other ones that you're saying, what am I building towards? I want you to narrow that down to one of those four answers. Am I building to sell one day? Am I building to buy somebody one day? Am I looking to transition this out to somebody else? Or really the fourth one is I haven't really given it much thought. A motivator is I'm looking to replace my current income. That's your first motivator. Then what's the building? What are you building towards after that? Right? Because then once you've replaced your current income or be able to retire full time and do that, now you've finished, like check mark that off. You're still building, right? So what are you building towards after you've hit your first goal? Okay, that's what I would look at. So I want to go back and I want to ask these questions of yourself again and be honest with yourself, whether you put the answer in or not. These are really, honestly, if you can say yes to these, at least 3 of these, then you're ready to, you have a sustainable business, at least in your mind. You got to look at it on paper. And that's where the 20 foundational pieces, Joni, write that down. That's the webinar I want them to listen to next. And actually, I'm going to give my email address at the end, and I know I'm going to get all y'all's emails. I'll send you a follow-up with a bunch of links to stuff. But this right here, to me, is it sustainable and scalable? If you can say yes to this, then yes, it is, because that means you've got something together. You've worked out something. All right, I'm going to open it up for just one last thing. join my Facebook group, and then I'm going to answer all questions here in just a minute. But join my Facebook group. It's just a simple little motivational Facebook group. It's called Legacy Driven Travel Professionals Shaping the Future. If you just go to facebook.com/groups, Legacy Driven Pros, I post motivational things, business building tips. We don't talk about partners. We don't talk about anything like that. This is all just positive stuff, helping to move everybody forward, fiercely forward. All right, open it up for questions. I'll answer anything.
Oh gosh. Okay. So first of all, I just want to share somebody's response, which I thought was really good. And then I'm going to start asking questions. So folks, if you have specific questions you'd like to ask Jenn, you can put those in there now, because most of our to this point have been comments. So just if you haven't had your question answered yet, then put it back in again and we'll do that. Okay. So she says, or Elijah says, I use we, us, etc., unless it's like a response giving my own personal advice or experience, even though right now it's just me. And I like that. It makes her sound,
Yeah.
it makes it business sound bigger. And I just think that's great that you've kind of taken that on. Good for you, Elijah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I recommend that to everybody, because you, yourself, and I, me, myself, and I are three people. So you keep doing that. That's good. And also refer to
Okay.
yourself as an agency owner. I own an agency. I own a travel agency.
Exactly. Exactly. What can you go back that slide real quick, Jenn, with your Facebook group name again? And then, so this person wanted that. So I just want to make sure they get that. Okay. And okay.
And
How do you
earlier,
make an,
yeah, I was going to say earlier, people were saying, now I need to know how to do it. So you asked
yeah,
that specific.
exactly.
Yep. All right,
Yeah.
keep
How do you
going.
make an approach if interested in purchasing an existing business? That's a great question.
An awesome question. So first off, you've got to ask yourself your motivation, right? Is your motivation because you're looking to, let me ask a follow-up question. If it's another local business, because there's definitely local businesses that have clients that they already know, like, and trust, I would go up to them and just say, hey, I see here you've been in the industry, or you've been here, part of our local community for 30 something years. I've been here for 5 years, whatever. I'm looking at one day possibly acquiring a travel agency that's looking to phase themselves out over the next few years. Have you ever thought about that? So you always started out with telling them what you know about them, telling them what you're interested in doing and why, and then just ask the question.
Okay, so I've got a really good question, and she says it's a silly question, but it's not, Kayla, at all. Okay, this feels like a silly question, she says, but here goes.
Go.
No question is silly. Okay, how do you know what marketing activities are actually driving revenue when you have a team and people are coming from left and right? And it could be because they saw a post or on social or read an email 3 weeks ago. How do you know what's working? And that's a fantastic question, Kayla, not silly.
Oh my God, it's not silly at all. So Kayla, what's happened is, I'm going to go back to the eyeball comment. You're putting yourself out there in a variety of different ways. And the average touch point is now 11. It takes 11 touches. And touches are, they see you somewhere, they hear you somewhere, they read about you somewhere, someone talks about you, maybe there's a comment. It takes 11 touches now in marketing for someone to make the first baby decision, okay? And a baby decision could be they comment on your post, right? It takes 11 just to get the first baby decision. They join your newsletter, they join your Facebook group, they go ahead and pick up that flyer at the trade show. It takes 11 touches. Then after they've touched, this is a sales funnel, after they've touched you the first time, God, this is sounding really bad, touch me in the morning. Anyway, oh my gracious. So then after they've made that baby decision, you've put them into a sales funnel of follow-up. Now all of a sudden they're ready to take action, which is to call you. Okay, so you're not going to know, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. I think what I would do is, as I'm talking to my client or my new client or the person that picked up the phone and called you, it sounds like you are asking them, hey, how did you hear about me? And if you aren't, that's a simple question. Hey, how did you hear? I'm so happy to talk to you. This is amazing. Share with me, how did you hear about me? And most people will tell you, oh my goodness, you're friends with one of my friends and she's been posting about her trip and I've been jealous for 4 years. And then I started following you and then you posted something. It's going to be 5 or 6 different things. So the part that I would then focus on is I would exclude the thing that you get nothing from. All right. So if you're posting constantly on Instagram, I'll just throw that out. You're posting on Instagram and you're not gaining any followers, right? New followers, and it's either how you're posting, what you're posting, the hashtags you're using. Number one. Number two, nobody is engaging. So you can go into your meta and look to see what kind of engagement that you're getting. If you're finding that you're just not getting engagement with some of these activities, then stop doing them. And then focus more on the ones that when you've asked the question, hey, tell me, how did you hear about me? Or what motivated you to connect with me? Find that out. You're going to find that it's a lot of word of mouth referral, and word of mouth is they're friends with somebody on social or at their office, and they're talking incessantly about how they're going to Greece, and that's all they do is talk about it. And one of the coworkers says, well, how did you decide to go to Greece? And then they say, oh my goodness, I have an amazing travel advisor I work with. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, I think you did. Okay. So here's another one. What is the best way to increase your audience on Instagram? Hiring a company that does SEO?
No. When it comes to Instagram, so I would follow Meta, right? So Facebook has, it's called Meta, right? If you go into their help center, they'll talk a lot about what types of posts work in today's world. A lot of it is the reels and the carousels. It's also, it changes constantly, right? So you've really kind of got to be really passionate about understanding what's engaging on Instagram. What doesn't work is posting from, I'm sorry to tell you this, what doesn't work is opting into an auto posting company that creates all the posts for you. That's not specific to you. Your organic, so like as an example, in the franchise model at Vacation Planners, we do all their social media for them, but we don't cross post anything. So if Jennifer Hawthorne, who is our franchisee from Central Arkansas, if she's going on a trip, she's sending us pictures from her trip, and we're creating the reels and the carousels and doing the posts from her pictures. It's not the same if you're using only, something like Ralio or something. That's not going to grow your followers. It may be a nice filler, but it's not going to grow your followers. And you just got to be careful that it's not downgrading your algorithm as well. And you can find all of that in your meta analytics section of your Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Somebody's also asking just briefly about LinkedIn, if that's a good option.
Oh, I love LinkedIn. You know what? If your people are professionals that are still actively working and they're in like a sales role, recruiter role, if they're utilizing LinkedIn for leadership tips, they like to read on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is amazing. I did a LinkedIn course or a webinar many years ago. I should probably do another one to catch everybody up on. I think LinkedIn is the rock star of them all. Here's the reason why. You should take, let's just take a review as an example, right? So somebody just gets back from that Greece trip, right? And even if they don't do an official review, you've done a follow-up call. Tell me what you loved, tell me what you didn't love, what's your next trip, blah, blah, blah. You're taking all those notes. That is a post, and it's also a LinkedIn article. How to ensure a family of 5 traveling overseas for the first time doesn't kill themselves. Don't hurt each other or get along great or whatever that is. That's an article, and you reference that trip that your clients just took. Well, people love to read about those stories. That's the reason why we're following people on Facebook while they're not Facebook, but on Instagram and YouTube while they're putting on their makeup and talking about politics. Like we can't get enough of being part of somebody else's story or hearing about somebody's story. That's why podcasts are so popular. We want to hear all about somebody else's story because we want to see ourselves in it. I love LinkedIn. Go for it.
Okay, somebody asked just to clarify, you're saying to write articles for LinkedIn? Is that what you're
Yes.
suggesting?
Yeah, or even
Okay.
just longer posts. Yeah, you can take a
Okay.
post. You can, if you guys follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see what I'm talking about. I have opinion pieces out there. I might talk about, hey, I'm getting ready to do a webinar, but for the most part, it's like opinion pieces on leadership because I'm the president of a company and I like to share leadership because I like to read about leadership.
Okay, perfect. So this question is a little more specific, but I'm going to throw it out here. It's asking you, they wrote a book last year about accessible travel because that's something that they're passionate about and is part of their life.
Love it.
And they target it, to basically that and the book, but it hasn't really helped to boost sales. I'm kind of wondering if books are an old concept at this point.
I wouldn't say they're an old concept at all. I would say that your book is just another touch point, quite frankly. And it's also a content generator. So what I would do is all those tips, everything that you put into that book, those are pieces of content. Each little part of a chapter is a piece of social media content. Each chapter or a portion of the chapter is a chance for you to write another article or reposition that chapter and put it on LinkedIn. But I would also ask myself, who are the influencers in that same space that I should be connecting with? So who else talks, not in travel, but who else is an influencer in that space? Is there a company or an individual that talks about, raising children that, have lost their limbs? I'm so sorry, I can't think of a polite way of saying that, but do you know what I mean? Like, who else are you following because you're passionate about it for a very specific reason? Use your motivation. I'll give you an example. My brother is not doing this as a business, but my sister-in-law has cancer, and it's one of those incurable cancers, but it's going to be with her for the next 20 years. It's called NETs, neuroendocrine cancer. And, they have to go to Mayo Clinic once a month, actually twice a month. And, they decided that, it's uncomfortable for her to drive, for him to drive her for 3 hours. So long story short, they took a Sprinter van and they converted it to like a little baby RV. And you know what they did is they've launched a website called No Cure Caravan and a podcast called No Cure Caravan. Now he's not going to make money on it or anything like that, but they wanted a place to share their story. You know what's going to happen? People are going to start following it because they are good storytellers, cute little pictures. And then there's going to be somebody who's going to look at it that's going to say, hey, this guy's an influencer. He's attracting people that I want to attract, or vice versa. My brother's going to see it and he's going to say, you know what, maybe we should partner with this because we want to get our story out to more people. That's all influencers are, guys. And that's what you are as a travel advisor. You are an influencer. You're influencing people every single day to get out of their homes and go on vacation. You're helping people connect. So I would use that book as a leverage tool to create content. And then I would reference it, as someone who's passionate about this. My book, ABC, whatever it's called, really helped open my eyes to this. But a book in and of
Yeah.
itself is not going to give
That
you
makes
the.
tons of sense. I'm going to take a couple more questions before getting down to the wire, but I just
I'm
have to
sorry, I'm
share this
so
because of,
passionate.
no, I have to share this because of what you said, Jen, because first of all, I'm very sorry about your sister-in-law. But secondly, Andy, and I know a lot of people here probably realize that our son Andy has retinitis pigmentosa and he's 42 and he's legally blind. And he has, I've learned a lot about all of this, obviously, as a mother throughout these years. But one of the things that I have been doing, I follow this gentleman who wrote a book he writes poems actually, and he has the same disease as my son. He's in the UK, and he's called The Blind Poet.
Yeah.
And his stuff is just amazing. But what's really cool about it is that, and again, he's an influencer without question. And I know people are reaching out to him because I'm seeing how successful he is getting out and marketing himself in this way. And he's written a new book, and apparently he's now doing a movie. So, it works, folks. I see this thing in action. I mean, I'm not physically involved with him in any way. I don't know him personally, but
Mhm.
this kind of thing really does work. People want to read and hear about similar things that are happening in their life. It's comforting. Okay.
It is. Well,
So,
we connect when we feel that we can. That's how we connect. when we have
Yep.
something
Yep. You're absolutely right. I think so too. So a number of people have been asking Jenn about the other webinars that you've mentioned throughout the event today. So folks, I
common.
just want you to know all of Jenn's recorded webinars are available on travelprofessionalnews.com under the past webinars area of it. And they're kind of hard to find sometimes. I know Jenn mentioned she might send something out tomorrow to all of you, but I just wanted to let you know you can find all of them, and they're alive and kicking on travelprofessionalnews.com. You're also going to get everybody tomorrow about this time, 24 hours later, you will get a recording link to this. So you'll be able to listen to this again, which might help you kind of refresh which something you may have missed. So just know you're going to get the links to this tomorrow and you can listen to this all over again. Jenn, I think we're kind of down to the wire. I think we need to give away our prizes.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. All right. So here we go. The first question I'm going to ask, I'm going to randomly pick the correct answer, just kind of hit my monitor and someplace and find out if that's the correct answer with my eyes closed. Okay. So in the beginning, Jenn talked about the three biggest obstacles that she sees with advisors not building their business smarter. So there are three different things that she talked about. Can you name one, two, or three of them? And I'm going to randomly pick.
This is when they realized, Joni, they were supposed to be writing everything I said.
Uh, oh, everybody's saying too many distractions. Okay, we're getting a lot of answers. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to touch the screen someplace and pick. Okay. And John Weidmer, you are the winner of a consultation with Jenn Lee. That's John. And what is the answer? It is work to wow ratio. Good listening, John.
Yeah.
Perfect. And right on. And the other two were distracted with too many options and lack of solid term direction. But I had to close my eyes and randomly pick, and that's who we got. So congratulations, John. All right. So next question you're going to answer. I'm going to pick the 10th person that does this correctly. I'm going to pick a number this time. In the decision framework section, what was the first and foundational question Jenn challenged you to ask yourself? There's only one answer to this question, folks.
The very first one.
They're coming in.
Good. That's a picture of me in Munich, Germany, by the way. One of my most favorite.
Lucky, such a great place.
Oh, loved it. I love it when you go at a time of year you can sit outside and not sweat, because I live in Florida and I'm hot all the time.
Okay, we have a winner. And that winner is Leonora. And Leonora's been great. She's asked a lot of good questions today, too. Leonora DeMaro. And Leonora, you have won a $50 Amazon gift card from Travel Professional News. And the answer was, what am I building towards?
There you go. Good job, Leonora. Good job.
Fantastic. All right. Well, everybody, this was great. As always, Jenn just killed it. She's so amazing. We love it when she's on here. It's so much fun. So everybody, I know we've gotten so many thanks from folks, Jenn, on here, thanking you for everything you did today and all of this great information. Leonora, you can look for your Amazon gift card, and Jenn will be reaching out to you, John, about your consultation. Everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Jenn, thank you so much. Fantastic. Looks like we got a lot more webinars to do.
Yes, we're going to talk about influencers next.
Awesome. I am looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much for being here, Jenn. I know everybody else is thanking you. And we hope everybody has a great day.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.